Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Just doing another super simple craft. Just the direction I seem to be in these days. And I'm using these wood rounds and the sponge brush sets that I put in an earlier video, which I said, hey, try and guess what I'm making. Actually, I haven't even looked to see if anybody's guessed, but if you did, here's the answer. And I'm just using the base of the wooden sponges, and then the sponges themselves I can still use in projects. And then as you see here, I'm using some polyfill, some socks, some rubber bands, and some, what do they call them? Tinsel stems. So tinsel stems, and to make pumpkins. Now I found that the shorter socks, what do they call these kind of socks? Low cut socks. The low cut socks work better for this project, but you can still use the longer ones. You just have to cut them, and then if you want to use both halves, you have to just sew the other half closed, just so that you can use it as a pumpkin. And the only sock I didn't use so far is this one. I'm still debating if I'm going to make pumpkins out of this one or not. It's super cute, but I don't know if I'm going to do that because I just wear those. So this is how I made them. Now I got this idea this lady was making in a magazine. She was making pumpkins out of sweaters, which I thought was really awesome. And I went and I looked it up on YouTube, and people were, you cut the arms, the sleeves off a long sleeve sweater that you no longer needed, and you turn them into pumpkins. And I don't have sweaters. So I live in Southern California, just don't have that kind of weather that really makes wearing sweaters that necessary. And so I didn't have sweaters, and I didn't want to buy any just for this project. And so I went looking around, and I saw people made them out of all kinds of things, and all different kinds of little creatures out of the socks by putting it, by filling the socks with polyfill. So I went toddling off to Dollar Tree, and I decided to make the Halloween socks and make them into pumpkins. And there were videos for that too. Some people sew different fabrics together, you know, in triangle shapes. I'm not that talented. And, but I used, mine were kind of wonky, so I added this wood base to it, and I just stuffed it down the sock. And I'm not cutting this or sewing this in any way. And I wanted, of course, the face to be in the forefront. And for this one, I just, after I put the little wood piece in, I'm just gonna put polyfill in it until I'm happy with how much polyfill it has in there. And so I'm just gonna do that. Let me throw some polyfill in. And I'll show you the other ones I completed at the end, but I just mainly just kept stuffing it in. And I'm gonna admit, at first, it didn't look like, I thought, that is not gonna be a pumpkin. So there must be something else they did to it. And then I finally figured it out, what they did. And let me the sock is kind of being pushed around, so sorry about that. Let me stuff in your polyfill without moving your sock around. Now I had a little bit of polyfill in my stash, and so I only bought a small one because I'm trying to be good about not buying more than I need and then having to store it. So I hope there's enough left in that. And I'm just gonna kind of push it down. And I want the face to stay kind of prominent on here. Okay. And then I'm going to tuck this in. So that's what I did with the first one. I didn't want to cut it because I was afraid it would start to fray, and I didn't want to cut it and then have to, you know, sew around the edge to keep it from unraveling. Because I didn't really, be honest, I didn't watch the whole videos. I just watched pieces of it, like, oh, they're using this, oh, they're using that. But I didn't watch it to the end because I figured it was a pretty easy craft. And also, I tend to do that a lot. I'll look at something and go, ooh, let me try that, but I'm gonna do it the way I wanna do it. So what I did is to keep it from being too black on the back, I just kept tucking the sock in over and over again until the black was gone and it looked like this. And then I wanted, of course, the pumpkin shape. And in the videos I saw, people were using ribbon and this stuff. Twine, thank you. And this stuff slipped and slided all over the place, did not hold. So I gave up on that, and I used hair ties, and then I wanted a dark color, so I painted some just regular household rubber bands. I didn't do a good job on it, but they're black, and they have enough black in them that they don't like just scream beige. And then I just started putting them around to give the kind of the ridges of the pumpkin. Not all the videos I saw did they do this portion of it. Some of them just kept it just plain round, which I think you could do just fine. Those were just as cute. And as you can see, as you squash it down with the rubber bands, it starts to form the circle rather than being a tall skinny thing. And how many you put on there is depending on what you want your pumpkin to look like. So you can see at the end, he's no longer tall and skinny, but squat and fat. And I try to put it so that his face stays together. And oops, just lost one of them. And somewhere where it wasn't like too much. And I'm sorry, it's the first time I've had them all start to pop off on me. There we go. Just do that. And you can rearrange these and use them to hold in the sock, hold the sock tucked in as you need. And then all I did was take my stem that I made using the end of the sponge brushes. With the hole I put in here, I used the tinsel to make the curly vine. And then I just found the hole in the center and just kind of tucked it in. I didn't use glue, or I didn't do any of that because I figured if I wanted to redo this into something else, then it'd be really easy to do because nothing is attached. And it holds really, really quite nicely. So a little bit of polyfill left, move some of that aside. So that's this one here. And again, you can move the rubber bands around to or use ones that are a different color that you like in order to get the kind of pumpkin you want. But this is one guy. Here is his matching pair here. Then I did a couple of these, and now these two I didn't tuck in the tops of the socks. They're also the low cut ones. Because I like the little look of these little sock parts here. I thought that made them cute. Oops, I'm gonna have to retuck him in. There we go. And then using this kind of sock. Now the difference between the fluffy socks, I don't know what they're called, and the regular type socks is that when you stretch it out and put in the polyfill, you can kind of see through the sock. It stretches it out a little bit, so I don't know if you can see here. But I liked the design on these. I thought they were kind of funny to have for pumpkin socks. And as you can see here, I didn't leave them all straight up. I had some of them tilted because I thought that made it more fun. But you can move your rubber bands and have them closer or further apart depending on how you want the faces to show up on the pumpkins. But these are my little pumpkin socks. So, and I was at my Dollar Tree a couple of days ago, and they still had Halloween, although they also had Christmas out. So thank you so much for checking out my channel. Definitely appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.